Hey everyone, and welcome back to Small Screen Sagas. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I'll be talking about the show from Season 2, Episode 9, entitled Ball of Magic Fire. Y'all, this was a great episode. A really, really good episode. No complaints. I mean, I'll always have complaints, but I really much enjoyed it. Watched it yesterday and just watched it again, and I'm excited for next week. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm really, really excited, especially seeing all the tweets and Harold, he wrote and he's like, you guys can't, you thought this was good. Wait until you see the next episode, which is season finale. So pretty excited for that. How we're going to do the show or this episode, we're going to talk about Tabitha, Jade, move to Sara and Kenny, Mariel and Christy, and then we'll do everything else because everything else is kind of all mixing together. All right, so let's start it off with Tabitha and Jade's conversations. So we get Tabitha and Jade. Well, Jade had already come to Miss Lou's house. He's like, what's going on? Victor told me that we can't go to sleep. And I'm like, how did Jade and Victor end up together? Because when we last left off, I believe Tabitha and Victor were together looking at the pictures. And then now all of a sudden Tabitha's in the house and Victor's with Jade, which is just an odd combination because it doesn't seem like Victor fucks with Jade. But either way, we get Jade and now Tabitha. They're looking at all of Victor's drawings at Miss Lou's house. And she's saying the pics come from the stories that Victor's mom would tell. Because Jade is like, well, what is these drawings? What's a little kid doing drawing these soldiers, these Civil War soldiers? And I'm seeing them. And she goes, no, these are from the mom's stories. And I still question, what story was the mom telling the kids at that young of an age about the Civil soldier? It's like, of course you tell the kids about history. You might have those conversations of war and stuff like that. But I did kind of wonder what that conversation came from or how she told that story at an age appropriate level. But Tabitha goes, well, this tower pic is really weird because I've had dreams since I've been here and I'm walking up a tower. So what if these kids are really just asking for my help? And maybe when they were saying Ananuku or whatever they were saying a few episodes ago, they're really saying like, come help us. I mean, they're obviously dead, but I don't know. Come save us, come help us. Maybe once you release their spirits or whatever, maybe that's when everyone can go home. And pretty much that's where the conversation led throughout the episode. I think we only saw them a few times. And the next time when we see them, Tabitha's once again still talking about, hey, you know, what if we're saving the children will help us go home? And then that's when we start hearing Julie screaming and everything that happened at the end with Julie screaming. And obviously cicadas or something is attacking her. We can assume it's cicadas since she's acting the same way that Randall and Mariel acted. I will say this was probably my least favorite part of the episode was Tabitha and Jade, them just looking over these pictures. I'm like, okay, I just wasn't feeling their scenes. And more so, I wasn't feeling Sara and Kenny scenes, particularly because of Sara. I just don't like that character. I don't like how they are really trying to make this girl seem like she was just so innocent. Oh no, she just got, manipulated and she's not okay. I get all that happened to you, Sara. But you have to take accountability for what you did. And I'm not saying she's not, but at the same time, she's sort of playing victim here. Like, I don't want to be here. I'll never get to be myself again. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you murder people. Like, you had chances to come and tell someone what was going on. You were literally about to kill this little kid. You lured him there, snuck his mom away and hid her away so she wouldn't be able to protect her own son. Sara, you did so many things that were just beyond forgivable. So them trying to make her like, oh no, poor Sara, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, every time she talked, I was like, do I really have to write what she's talking? I don't care. I was like, Kenny, I don't care what you're saying, Sara. I'm not going to villainize you, make you seem like you're just the most evil person there. Randall's doing some more fucked up shit and no one's manipulating him. But you did what you did, and these are the consequences of your actions. So we see Sara and Kenny. I said all that to give, the scoop of what they were doing. So she's just blapping away, talking about how things feel weird and they feel wrong now. And did Boyd ever tell you what happened? And that's another thing. Like, she don't have no common sense. She's not even thinking. Why are you talking to Kenny as if you guys are friends? As if you guys are just compadres, I don't know. Like, stop Stop trying to make small talk with him, especially when he told you he doesn't care. He's not responding to the conversation. He's not opening up. Take that as what it is and shut up. But she didn't do any of that. But one thing she did say, which I did find important, and it kind of makes sense, and I want to see where this leads us to, is she was saying, what if the people who die here, what if their fears become a part of the forest? Because Nathan was terrified of cicadas. Now, that's a theory I never even thought of. Like, these could be different people's fears. And it kind of goes back to that first episode with the boy saying, Julie, do you recognize me? Maybe that's like a boy that she had a crush on, and then she accidentally said something to him, made herself look dumb. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to, grasp at straws here and say, like, what does that boy have to do with anything from the beginning? And just other things that make me think, could this be people's fears? And Elgin not liking to take baths, and then he asks to see the water when he first got there. So there's different things. Maybe he has a fear of water or fear of large amounts of water. So hopefully we'll get some more there from that statement that Sara, or that theory that Sara came up with. But then Sara keeps continuing making her small talk, and then has the nerve to say, one day your mom, she once told me that she was grateful that you guys all came here together, ... And then she's like, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Bitch, why are you still apologizing? You don't know what you should and shouldn't say before you say it? Like, Sara, that's why I have no sympathy for Sara. Sorry, I said that. Oh, you remember your dad? Oops, I'm sorry I brought him up. Like, come on. But she knows it doesn't mean anything. It's painful for him to see her every day. And he's like, I don't care. I don't care what you feel. I don't care what you want. I don't care. You can't have a pity party in my face and make me try to feel sorry for you. It's not happening. And I respect Kenny for all of that. And I didn't see anything online this week. Well, the episode just aired yesterday, so I haven't really been online. But I haven't seen anyone talk shit about Kenny, but I just know they're out there. Because I always see people saying, oh, Kenny went too hard. Like, how you go too hard on a murderer? She's murdered people. Once again, she's free. She's like out there as free as the rest of them. She's not even confined in a jail or the box or anything like that. She has it pretty good because she's in the same predicament that everyone else is there. But he's like, you know what? Do what you want. Because she's like, I just want it to be over. And I felt her in this scene. I did feel her. She did a good job. In expressing like how she'll never be the same, and I get that. Like, even if she gets out of here, she knows that she's killed someone, and for a person that did that, for whether it was an accident or whatever, they have regret, remorse. I get what she was saying, but he's not the audience to say this to. You can't kill his dad and then tell him how fucked up your life will now be because of the choices you made. Like, that's not. Go talk to a therapist. Go talk to somebody else there and tell them, like, I fucked up. I feel really bad. I'll never be the same again. I got manipulated. I should have talked to somebody about what was going on with me. And it is unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I'm not saying that she's like 100% to blame, but she's like 90% to blame for what happened. So in this case, Kenny's not the one that she should be talking to. Just stay the night and be quiet. But Kenny goes, you know what? There's a spare gun and Boyd's drawer. Do whatever you want. And then cut to when Kenny comes back out of the room. Sarah's all there, dramatic with the gun. The bullets are out. How many you think it will take? You said I belong in the box. Shut the fuck up. So now you're trying to guilt him. And this is why I don't like Sara. Because she's had so many chances to do better, be better. She's walking around here and there all nilly. She didn't ask anybody's permission for that. But then has to ask permission to go out to the forest. If you really want to help and you really want to do a difference, you could have just went out to the forest with a talisman on your own. But see, here you're playing the pity game, the feel sorry for me game, and that's why I feel she was trying to manipulate Kenny in this scene. Kenny was in the room. You could have been killed yourself in that while he was out there, not advocating for suicide. Just want to make that clear. But don't be doing all this and that while he's out, and then when he comes in, you have the gun all dramatically displayed. Like, if you were going to do it, do it. It's because you said you don't want to cause him more pain, but now you're really about to kill yourself in front of him. You don't think that's going to fuck him up if he sees that? And this is what I mean, why I don't feel sorry for Sara. It's that manipulation. She was manipulated, but now she's trying to be the manipulator. And in the end, she puts 2 bullets in and she pulls the trigger once. Kenny has to stop her, which is so sick on so many levels. Now he has to stop the person who killed his dad from killing herself. It's sick. And it just made me not like Sara anymore. And I don't want to see any more I feel sorry for Sara posts. Like, nah, because this was not how you handled it. And how she handled it was wrong, and it's unforgivable. All right, let's talk about Mariel and Christy. So although Christy was with others and Mariel was with others throughout the episode, I'm just going to really talk about their scenes together, and then we're going to do everything else in the order it went, since they were all sort of intertwined. So when they get to the Colling house, Mariel's looking really bad. She's still going through withdrawals. And they ask, hey, Ellis, is there a room we can go to? And they find the empty room, and she's like, what is this, a freaky sex room or something? Because there's straps that hold people down. And Elle explains, no, this is for people on their first night. They freak out. It was the perfect room to put them in, really. While they're trying to get things situated, Ellis asks Christy, like how the baby and everything like that will work while it's in Fatima. Like, don't babies sleep while they're in the womb? And if the baby goes to sleep in the womb, can the monsters come and kill the baby in the sleep and then tear out of her like it's on Twilight, and she's what's the little girl's name from Twilight? Bella, and having the baby, So I get where his mind is going, because that, now that you think about it, it is kind of freaky and weird. But Christy goes, you know what? She's only like 6 to 7 weeks. It's like a little dot right now. It's a little very small. It's not a baby yet. It's just a little small thing. So I don't think it can sleep and all that. I don't know, because that's when you start talking and people getting conversations on when's a baby and when's a fetus and all that. I thought they were going to go there. I was like, whoa, they're going on a touchy subject here. But they didn't quite go there. But it's true that at that time, that baby it's not a baby yet. It's a small thing. I don't want to say anything that's offensive, so we'll leave it at that. But Christy goes, pregnancy is weird. We're just used to it. Just like the sun, if you think about it, it's a giant ball of fire, magic fire that's far away and keeps us warm. And that's insane. But we don't think of it as insane because we're just used to it. And the same with pregnancy. If you think about it, it's something that's growing inside of you and it comes out. And we're just used to that because it's normal now. So I kind of liked her explanation and trying to, ease and make sure Ellis feels more comfortable. But by the time she comes back in the room, Mariel's having a full breakdown. She's trying to open the window. She's saying something's in the room with her. And we, the audience, did hear something. We hear the cicadas. And Christy's like, calm down. Like, it's nothing here. You saw stuff when you went through withdrawals. And she's like, no, this is different. Then Mariel does the unspeakable. She says this is Christy's fault. It's Christy's fault because she disappeared and she couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep, and eventually she turned to drugs, and this is why she's here now. She's breaking shit. She's having a mental breakdown. And she goes, eventually she calms down. She goes, you know what? You need to strap me up. But I want to say, like, I understand Mariel's having a breakdown and couples have arguments and disagreements, but there are some things you can't take back. There is some hurtful shit that people remember and be like, I can't, like, I forgive you as a person, but I can't be with you. I can't be your friend anymore. You said some really hurtful shit. And I understand that you were going through withdrawals. But it's no different if someone's on drugs and they do something crazy or mean to you. Or if someone's drunk. If a man's drunk and hits his wife, no one goes, oh, well, it's okay. He was drunk at the time. You still did it. It doesn't matter if you were drunk and did it. It doesn't matter if you were on drugs and did it. You get in a car accident, you're on drugs or drinking, you can still get in trouble. No one goes, oh, no. They don't get in trouble because they were drunk when they did it. So I think the same thing applies with Mariel's harsh words. Saying Christy's at fault. Christy's the only one here trying to take care of you right now. And I understand she might not be in her right mind. And I'm definitely trying to be sensitive to this situation. Not defending anyone that may be listening, even though there's like only 10 of you that listen. But still, what I'm saying is I don't know how they can come back from this. Because that was some harsh words. And the throwing and breaking shit. And yeah, Kenny broke some shit, like threw a chair with Sara earlier. But nah, I'm not going to be feared of my partner. Like I'm not going to be scared of my own partner. and you throwing shit. What if you try to throw me next? No, it's a cut. It's a no. I'm going to help you through this night. I'm going to help you get through this draw. But that's some unforgivable shit in my opinion. You know, no one's going to be like, oh, she was going through withdrawals. So what if you go through withdrawals again? Now I'm just going to get verbally abused by you? No. But then Christy leaves again. Now, I don't know why Christy kept leaving with no one else there. Like, no one should be alone, especially the girl that's going through withdrawals. You just saw her have a mental breakdown. You shouldn't leave for even a second. You were only gone a few minutes the first time. I wouldn't have gone anywhere. I would have went to the door and yelled. There's like 50 people in that house. Yell out, hey, can someone go grab me a juice? You don't even have to leave her. Can someone go get me a cup of juice, please? A cup of water? She never had to leave the room. Not blaming her for what happened to Mario in this scene. I'm just saying I would have left the person in that situation. And it seems like Christy would have known that being a doctor and medical student. But she leaves to get Mario her juice. And that's when the cicadas come and attack him. And Christy comes back and she doesn't know what to do. And that's when we get Boyd and everything else. So we will go to that whole thing. And we'll come back to the Christy and Mario stuff later. But before we do, let me know what you guys think. Can Christy forgive Mario for her actions? Because yes, she was going through withdrawals, and I understand that. Even if someone's having a mental breakdown or whatever the case may be, I don't know. I just don't. How could she forgive her after saying that was so wrong? Like, Christy already has so much guilt, and then for her to say, this is your fault. And Christy probably thinks even more because of her conversation with Sara. But I just didn't like it. We'll see how it goes. Maybe they can move past it. Who knows? All right. We're going to do everything else in pretty much the order it took place. So the episode comes on. And we see Reggie, he's outside the house screaming. And I think we met Reggie in a few episodes ago. He was the one that did not want to let go of Nathan's jacket. He didn't want to give that shit up. So he's over here, and Paula, I'm guessing that's his girlfriend, wife, or somebody, she's dead. And she looks like the monsters killed her. Like, she even has her faces open like a monster. So like a kind of like dead smiley. And she's dead, and he says she was killed in her sleep. And it looks like, how the monsters did it. And he's like, she was saying a melody. And that's when he repeats. She was saying, they touch, they break, they steal, no one here is free. And Boyd goes, hey, we need to spread the word right now. No one go to sleep. Because he confirms with Reggie, like, are you sure she was asleep that whole time? He's like, yes, she was still asleep. And Reggie's freaking out. And you can hear cicadas in the background while Boyd's outside talking. Like, they're all like, chirp, 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 all loud and stuff. And that's when Julie says, hey, my dad is at the RV. Like, he doesn't know we can't go to sleep. Okay, so just those two scenes there real quickly was pretty freaky. Like, I'm thinking about Reggie and how he acted the rest of the episode, and I'm not mad at him. Like, I'm not mad at Reggie at all. Like, I saw people talking about Reggie online, how his acting was horrible. Horrible. I enjoy Reggie scenes more than I did Sara and Kenny. I just don't fuck with Sara. But Reggie scenes, was it a little over dramatic? But think about if you saw someone die like that in front of you. Like, yes, anybody be going crazy. And I may be contradicting myself. Someone may be like, okay, you said this for this, but you said something else for that. Either way, what I'm saying is, based on what Reggie saw, literally right in front of him in the middle of the day, why someone's doing something as natural as sleeping, I don't blame him at all for the craziness that he was doing. Now, when we get to it later on in the Colleen house, I might say something opposite. Who knows? But right now, when I'm thinking about it and thinking about what he saw, and then they don't even give him a moment to calm down and kind of just compose himself. They're like, tell us everything right away. So I get it. So then we go to the RV, and Jim is asking Randall, like, what the fuck? He goes, sorry to Donna, and Donna goes, Boyd killed one of the monsters. That's what you saw. Because Randall's like, nah, I saw them. They took a body out. That was one of their, like, part of their props or whatever. And she's like, you dumb idiot. Like, that was a monster. Boyd, we found out how to kill one. We were dumping the body. And Randall goes, yeah, right. Like, now the rules change. Now that I said this, now they come up with an excuse. And to be fair, Randall, I get him being a skeptic. I get it. And on the outside looking in, I was judging Randall. I don't want to say judging him too harshly, But in a way, I do get it. Like, it's weird. It's too coincidence. Everything is happening. So from his perspective, I can see him questioning things. How he's going about it is wrong. It's if you question, you're like, I'm not really sure, then just pay attention more. Or don't involve anybody else in your shit. Like, if you're like, I'm going to investigate because I don't think this is true. Okay, but then why are you pulling other people who do believe it's true, such as Donna? If you don't believe it's so true, then why don't you tie your own self up to the tree? Like, that's what I disagree mainly on. I don't mind him being like questioning stuff, but don't put other people's lives in danger because you're not sure. And then sure enough, Randall tries to turn it on Jim. He's like, you put this shit in my head. Maybe you did it because you wanted to see how I react. I'm like, Randall, oh my gosh. Not taking any responsibility for his actions. And now trying to say someone else put stuff in his head. You're a grown-ass man, okay? So if he put stuff in your head and you just went with it, what the fuck else can we put in your head and you just go with? Like, come on. Like, take some accountability. Don't try to blame Jim for your nonsense. But that's when Boyd comes, shoots a bullet, a warning bullet, and then tells Jim, hey, undo Donna. And he's like, we got to get out of here. We got like 5 minutes. Let's get in the van. Who has the keys? And then that's when Randall takes the keys out and goes, these keys, and throw them. It was a little too silly because Randall, you listened to Boyd for a second and you threw the knife down because he had the gun. Why'd you throw the keys? Like, you wouldn't be scared that he would kill? Like, that part was a little dumb I don't know. That part was a little dumb, I feel. And Randall goes, I guess we'll have to stay the night and see what happens then. Like, you fucking idiot. Then we head over to the colony house, and Reggie's telling everybody what happened to Paula. And he's like, we're all gonna die. Like, he's saying everything that's coming in mind. I thought it was funny. Like, I mean, I was just like, yeah, I would be thinking the same thing. Like, remember, Reggie came on the bus. He's only been there for a few days, maybe a week. And a lot of shit has happened. The human brain can only take so much. And I know it sounds like I'm going easy on Reggie and hard on Sara. And maybe I am. but Sara, and maybe I am. Maybe I need to look at my own, thoughts and opinions on why I'm not judging Reggie as hard as Sara. Maybe because Reggie hasn't killed anyone and he's just freaking out. And he's actually telling people he's freaking out. He's not keeping the shit secret. He's not opening windows, opening doors, and letting people die and not telling anyone. But anywho, he's freaked out. He says, we're all going to die. No one can go to sleep. And Fatima, she's so calm and she's trying to keep him calm. And that's when Kirsty asks Ellis for the room. And then we go back to the RV, and Boyd is explaining everything, like why they can't go to sleep. He goes, that's why I came to the RV. And he's kind of mad at Jim because he's like, what the fuck? Like, your daughter's scared. I came here because she was worried about you being here at the RV by yourself. And now you're up to this bullshit. And then you can tell Jim is like listening to him. And then Randall goes, fuck, Jim, pick a lane. Like, 1 minute you believe me and you're going along with my plan. Next minute you believe Boyd. Like, which one is it? And he goes, wonder why your family is such a fucking mess. That was foul. That was fucked up. Like, they be hitting below the belt. And that's when Boyd locks up Randall and says, you're going to get people killed. And Boyd goes to Jim, like, how do you think this is still a game? Like, after everything you've seen. And he says, my wife died here. My best friend, I watched him bleed out in front of me, here at this place. And Donna goes, I think Donna got the line of the episode, and she goes, you lead a pig to shit and surprised and made a mess. She's talking about Jim to Randall. Loved it. This was such a good episode. I just had so much fun in the RV. The RV stuff, favorite part of the episode. Probably to everyone, but it was my favorite part of the episode. And that's when Boyd threatens to tie Randall to a tree and, see if he figures out himself. Like, if you think it's a game, you don't think it's real, shit, I'll tie you to the tree. Then we hop over to Colony House, and Miss Lou pulls out a game for everyone. And Ethan's worried about his dad and asks if they'll all die because everyone died, with Victor. And Victor's like, that won't happen again. Victor, you don't know if it will or won't happen again. And you can't just say it won't happen again without following that up with this is the reason why. But he goes, my mother used to say that everything's a story and we get to decide how it ends. And then Ethan, second coldest line of the episode, says, what about her story? Did it end the way she wanted? Like, damn, Ethan is, man, this a little boy, and he said that, like, damn. And everyone, like, tried to shush him up, like, hush up, man. But he's speaking truth. He's asking real facts. Don't try to baby me and make me think everything is just jilly G golly good. You bringing up your mom and her stories and how we get to make the end. Okay, did your mom's story the end she wanted? I mean, that was a good question. It was kind of hard. It was kind of cold, but I get it. Sometimes kids, they don't really be playing games. They say what they're gonna say, you know. So I actually kind of appreciated Ethan for saying that. And he's over this. Jilly tried to bring up the Kramanako. Ethan's like, fuck that. I don't want to hear about that shit. That shit ain't real. That was a joke. That was a game. That's how I play with my He-Man posters, my He-Man toys, you know, my Ninja Turtles, whatever shit they're playing with. Like, this is not fun anymore. So I get it. And then on the RV, or back at the RV, you know, Boyd is dropping the bio onto the bullets. And Donna goes, yo, why don't you let Randall go outside, since he doesn't even think the monsters are real, and let them shoot him. And either way, if he shoots them, we get rid of one of our problems. If they die, and if they kill him, we still get rid of one of our problems. So Boyd offers Randall the gun and unties him. But just then, the monsters stop. So they don't even come all the way to the van or RV like they did that first episode. They stop. Or it was the second episode, I believe, when they first surrounded the RV. And they kind of stop about 20 feet away and just stare. And Donna is freaking out. She's like, no, they don't just stop. They don't ever just stop perfectly right there. Like, they'll come all the way. And that's when the music from the radio is playing. And it's important to note that it was station 47. And that was blinking. But before we go back to the RV, we go back to the colony house. And Reggie's having a mental breakdown. Cannot blame him. And he's ringing the bell. And he's like, the talisman won't protect you. There's nowhere that you are safe here. And pushes Ellis down. Ellis always getting hurt. Elgin holds him down. Elgin somehow has become like the colony house security, because I think he held somebody down last week. I can't remember who. But he's like, we're all going to die. And that's when Elgin brings him upstairs. Now, a thing to note, because later on we see Elgin. I'm like, okay, who's upstairs with Reggie? Reggie's having a mental breakdown. He needs to be strapped to a bed just like Muriel. And maybe they did that. And I also thought it was kind of wrong that everyone just sat around watching Elgin carry Reggie upstairs. Like, no one else helped him carry this guy upstairs. Like, he's holding him like he's a security guard. He's barely an adult, it looks like. I would say Elgin's closer to Julie's age than he is to Fatima's age. So he's very young, or at least a young adult. But good job for Elgin, keeping things calm. Then we go back to the RV, and Randall's freaking out from the music. He's like, what the fuck? How is this happening? The music it's all, that box is all tangled up. It's not even like in working order. How is it making the noise? And that's when Boyd's like, we got to get out of here, because I've heard this music before and bad shit follows. We need to get out. Then before they can do anything else, starts banging on the floor. Like, you feel something underneath you. And Jim's like, how can anything, there's no room for anything to be underneath us. Then the lights flicker and Randall freaks out and breaks a window and climbs out. So, of course, they now have no choice but to break a window and climb out, because now that something's open, and it's like having a window open in the house, they got to get out. So they all climb out. It's very scary, because the monsters now start walking towards them. And I don't know why they were frozen there before. Maybe they wanted them out. They wanted to lure them out. And that's what the music did and everything else. So, yeah, they knew exactly what to do. Everyone else probably would have kept their shit cool. Randall did not. But they all climb out, and before Boyd can climb out, he sees Abby, and she tells him to come back to her. But Boyd, he goes out of the van or gets out and starts running towards the van as the monsters approach him. So Boyd's seeing Abby, and she's saying, come to him. I don't know. I wonder, because when he turned back around, Abby's not there. So I do wonder if Boyd had, if Boyd had actually walked towards Abby, what would have happened? Would he just been trapped and the monsters would have actually went inside and killed him? Or what is it with him seeing Abby? Like, we saw him talk to Pastor or Father Kotri, and I was about to say Pastor Gabriel from The Walking Dead. We saw him talking to Father Kotri, and then now we see him talking to Abby, or Abby talked to him. He didn't really speak back. I kind of want to know where this leads, what's going to happen with, and why he keeps seeing Abby. And outside in the forest, Randall's running for his life, and then he hears the cicadas. He's like, what the fuck? Like, this is not right. This is not natural. Duh, Randall. That's what we've been telling you for the last few days. Why don't you go on back to your bus? But he gets attacked by the cicadas. They're in his mouth. They're everywhere. He's gagging. It's gross. It's scary. At first, I thought he died. Like, I thought Muriel died until Boyd was like, she's still breathing. Like, let's just see what we can do. So I'm like, wait, so they're like in a coma type of thing? So we'll see. Then we go back to the colony house, and Elgin is showing Tilly how to crochet. And maybe something is up with Tilly. Like, I know people would say she's something suspicious with her, but maybe something is up. Because she goes, Fatima, you're doing such a great job. I know you'll make a great mom. And she says, yeah, somehow she just knew she was pregnant because she herself has 4 kids and 7 grandchildren. And that's when Elgin remembers his dream. But let's go back to Tilly. Okay, Tilly. 4 kids, 7 grandchildren, and you were on your way to the slots because you thought you were about to die, like from whatever. So I just don't get that. Like, if you have 4 kids, 7 grandkids, I mean, yeah, if you're about to die, do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not judging you for going to the slots, but it is just kind of weird if you think you're about to die and you have 4 kids, 7 grandkids, you would be like spending time with them versus like going to the slots. But at the same time, I'm not judging what anyone wants to do if they know they're about to die. Spend your last days however you please. But her saying that, and then I did see a note that brought up, hey, the station 47, her saying she has 4 kids, 7 grandkids, that equals 47, 4 and the 7. So there might be something to Tilly is the mole, or Tilly is something. Or Tilly could be our Rose from Lost. You remember Rose in Lost? She had cancer, and then she got to the island, and her cancer went away, and she was happy, and she just wanted to stay there. And that could be what Tilly is. Tilly just could be on cloud 9 because maybe she's feeling better. Maybe she's not having trouble breathing, or she's not having pain, whatever case that her normal symptoms may be. Maybe she's not feeling that since she's been here. She did give up her liquid morphine, so it's possible that Tilly is just a lady that's happy to be alive because she thinks these are her last days to be alive. But at the same time, I don't know. And I don't think you could just tell someone's pregnant at 6 weeks just because you had a couple kids. Like, it doesn't work that. I mean, I don't know. There's different people have their different intuitions and superstitions on whatever. But the chance of you walking past someone that's 6 weeks pregnant and be like, yeah, I could tell. I call bullshit, but whatever. But that's when Elgin says he now remembers his dream, and then Donna and crew pull up. So Boyd and Donna, they're in the colony house now, and they're trying to calm down all the extras that's at the colony house. And I say extras because damn it, they did it again, y'all. Like, I don't recognize anybody in the colony house. Even the town earlier, there was like that black couple that was there outside Reggie's house. I'm like, who the fuck are you guys? I've never seen you once before. You can't just put these random people on here and think we won't notice. It's a big cast, but it's too small. It's a closed set. So I do want to recognize these extras. I want to see them over and over, and I want to see the same ones. And where the hell was Dale through all this? Like, okay. Anywho, they're coming in. They're trying to calm everyone down. Jim tries to leave because now he needs to be with his family. You were about to stay the night in the RV on some bullshit. And now that you find out some real shit's happening, which you know since you've been here, real shit keeps happening. So you should have stayed with your family from the jump. But Boyd goes, no. Every time we open this door, it's putting everyone at risk. We don't know if these people are outside. These monsters are outside. You're staying here overnight. You go see your family in the morning. But that's then Christy screams, asks for help. I love when like so much chaos is happening. It's like one thing's happening, and then before they can figure that out, boom, something else is happening. So we get Christy screaming for help, and Muriel's eyes are all like grayed out. She kind of looked like Storm from X-Men. And Boyd goes, hey, she doesn't need a fiance right now. She didn't need one from the beginning. Obviously, she's not in a position to be having fiance. No joke, not trying to be mean. But she needs a doctor, and she needs a friend. Maybe after this, Christy should be her friend and let that girl heal. But Christy says she doesn't know how to help her. And then that's when Ellis comes in. He goes, I need you to hear this, like it's important. And then this is when Elgin tells us about his dream. I will say this. From the beginning of us meeting Elgin, and then him even like telling, not Christy, Julie, or a few episodes ago, that he had a dream, but he feels like it's important. He needs to remember it. And everything that's happened with Elgin, and this dream that he says, it was disappointing. Like, it was just like, what? That was the dream? How was that the dream that you felt like you had to remember? Like, nothing in what your story was like, oh my gosh, I just had to remember. And then nothing in your story excuses you on how you woke up on that bus. Like, y'all should have came up with something better, because this story wasn't it. But Elgin says he has a dream. He just remembered because Fatima's pregnant. And that's when he goes, I'm sorry, because now Ellis didn't get to tell Boyd yet, and they all kind of stare off, and he goes, okay, it's okay, tell me the story. And he says there was a boy dressed in all white, so we know the boy in white, and he kept repeating the phrase, here they come for 3, unless you stop the melody. It's like, okay, that's you woke up from that dream, and that's why you were freaking out on the bus? That would make no sense. But okay, let's move on. And then Baxter goes, yeah, I know that. That's an old nursery rhyme. How the fuck is that a nursery rhyme? That sounds scary. Here they come. They come for 3. Like, you mean that's a kid's scary story you tell the kids? Unless you stop the melody. Like, I'd be scared if someone had told me that melody when I was a kid. But surprisingly, there's a lot of kid melodies that are like, actually like, have darker meaning, you know, like Ring Around the Rosie. And there's like a few that I've seen over my years. I should have looked at before getting on the pod, but I know Ring Around the Rosie, like something dark. I can't remember exactly what. I think it's like people dying, or I think it's about war. I don't know. Or a sickness. I can't remember, but it's something darker, which if you didn't know, like, you know, you sing Ring Around the Rosie all the time, or played it as kids. So there's other ones. So when Baxter said her grandma used to sing that to her, I'm like, what the fuck? But I'm like, well, there's situations where, yes, that does happen. And that's pretty much it. And that's when, you know, we go back to Tabitha and Jade, and Julie's screaming. So she's one of the 3, Mariel's one of the 3, and then Randall's one of the 3. Which is funny, because last week I thought the 3 indicated the people who heard the music, which at the time was Elgin, Kenny, and Mariel. And now out of the 3 that I had guessed, Mariel's the only one. And Julie, I don't know how she got involved, but she's one. And then Randall, out of all people, is one. So, yeah, surprising how it ended there. I thought it was a great episode. I had so much fun watching. I enjoyed talking about it, even though there's only like 10 of you that's going to listen. I still had fun talking about it. So, we'll end it here. We'll be back next week with a full recap. I think Gary is going to join me for the season finale. I'm going to try to get him there. And then if you guys do watch The Walking Dead, or now Dead City, which is the spinoff for Negan and Maggie, we'll be covering that on our Verdicts In feed / The Walking Dead feed, and that is Gary and me. So there'll be 2 of us on that podcast. So if you enjoy me myself, you'll definitely enjoy me with Gary, and hopefully he'll be able to join us on this season finale for season 2 next week of From. If you want to be part of the podcast, hit me up, host@theverdictsin.com. That's HOST @theverdictsin.com, and we'll discuss your feedback on the podcast. You can also send me messages on Twitter @theverdictsin, or facebook.com/verdictsin, or on Instagram @theverdictsin. All right, until then, I'm Nicole. Have a good one. Bye.